Today's gospel reading is a very enigmatic reading because it's a warning. It was a warning that Christ had given. He's speaking of the Jews who presumed upon themselves to think that perhaps salvation was only with them and that their harvest would come and they had time to harvest. Christ tells the Samaritan woman that those who wait for the harvest and say, I've got 4 months, he tells them, no, look, the harvest is now ripe. It's time to reap, and yet you're not ready. And today, dear ones, I want to tell you of that message does apply to us as much as it did to the Jews back then. You see, dear ones, we are the Christian people. We have been grafted into the family of Christ. We've been given this great gift. Let's not hide it under a bushel. We have a commission to fulfill as Christians. We have a commission to go out into all the world and preach the gospel to all people, whomever they may be. Christ spoke to the Samaritan woman and she was amazed. Why would this Jew, this rabbi, be speaking to her? Because she was considered unclean. She was considered an outcast, an outsider. But Christ came to redeem the outsiders to him so that there would be no outsiders. Christ came to redeem those who were placed upon the fringes of society. He came to heal those who were sick, not those who were righteous. He came to heal those who had a disease. He didn't come to heal the healthy. He came to redeem the lost, not those who had already been found. And so we see this message today, dear ones, and we have to think to ourselves, how does this apply to me today? Has there ever been a time that I have been unwelcoming to those who would come to me to hear the gospel? Is there ever a time that I have neglected to preach the gospel to somebody who was in need? I tell you that Mahatma Gandhi was once asked by a reporter, what do you think of the Bible? And he said, oh, I like your Bible very much. He said, then what do you think of the Christians? Oh, I wish your Christians were much more like your Christ. It was said that the same Mahatma Gandhi at one time tried to enter into a Christian church in India. But however, the Christians in India were still obeying the caste system. And since he was considered of an unworthy caste, he was to be put upon the outside of the church. He wouldn't even be allowed to go inside. Oh, what a heresy and what a terrible travesty that would have been. Because that one person, because of mankind and his foolishness, did not let someone come to the table who needed to come to that table to be filled with that everlasting spring of water. And I tell you, I've seen it today. I've seen it in churches today. We see it everywhere. Oh, you can't come in here. I will tell you one thing, and one thing that we must do as Orthodox Christians. We must be welcoming to those who would come. We must make converts of all people. This is a commission. For what good is it if we have the pearl of great price and we cover it with a bushel? We cover it over and we just hoard it into ourselves and we just keep it. We don't do anything that says, this is mine, this is not yours. You see, we have a commission to fulfill. Let us not be like the Jews of old. Let us not be proud of wearing our garments of salvation, thinking that they're only given to us. I come to you today as a convert. You see, Christ sought me out, even in the midst of the worst that I used to be. And He sought me out. And it was through the good grace and love of a kindly Greek Orthodox priest who took me in and taught me the way and set me on that path. Not knowing that it would be several years it would take me to come to the door of the church and enter as a catechumen. And you see, I hear this term that infuriates me so much, cradle Orthodox, and converts. The difference between cradle Orthodox and converts. I will tell you, dear ones, there is not one single person here who can claim to be cradle Orthodox, because you cannot be baptized in the womb. Each one of us is a convert. Each one of us at some point in our life, whether it was during a child or we were adults, we were converted to the true faith. And we were given that clean baptismal robe. It was put upon us. And so, dear fellow converts, no matter where you are from, whether you be white or black, Chinese, whether you be Australian, whether it be wherever you are from, God's going to come and find you, and the true church will be established there. And so I tell you, be welcoming to all who come to that door, who ask of your faith. What is this orthodoxy? What is this faith that you have? Because no matter who they are, no matter where they've been from, no matter what they have done, no matter who it is that asks you, whether it be you may have the lowest opinion of this person that comes to you, but they ask you, what is this Christianity that you profess, and why should I profess it? If your mouth fails to proclaim the faith that's been given to you, then shame upon you. Christ proclaimed it to the Samaritan, who was claimed to be the lowest of all low in that time. And it was proclaimed, and he stayed with them 2 days more, and many more heard the word and believed. In this, we hear the most clear statement that Jesus made of being the Christ. Because the Samaritan woman, even though she was reviled by the Jews, she even knew the prophecies that would come. They say that there is a Messiah who will come, who is called the Christ. And Christ says to her, I am he whom they speak of. And so if anyone would dare tell you that the authority of this passage is somehow tainted, that somehow Jesus was not the Christ, then they're foolish. Because we know Christ is speaking with authority here in this lesson. He's speaking with authority as he has spoken in all lessons. And so that word comes to us that he spoke to the Samaritan woman. And you go out, Christians, dear Christians, and you go out into the world and you profess the faith. It doesn't matter who they are, where they are, what color they are, what language they speak. Profess the faith. Some will hate you, some will revile you, some will try to destroy you and kill you. But then again, haven't they always? Is this something new? No. There have been times of martyrdom before. Profess the faith. A Christian professing the faith right before he goes to being beheaded or being martyred, and oftentimes the executioner himself would find the faith. So it happened to the centurion who thrust the spear. So it happened to many who martyred the faithful. Let your testimony be in word and deed. And do not spare anyone the truth. Remember the lesson today of the Samaritan, the woman who came to the well to draw out simply water for the thirst of the time being. And Christ offered her that well, that water that springs forth eternal. And the person who drinks of that well thirsteth no more. You have that within yourself, dear ones. Give it to the others. It's meant to drink. In the name of the Father,